Agi in Shabbos, Parshas, Tazria, Metzorah, Meiri de Vort from Rav Bunim Pshisch. There's a Medrash Rabbah that tells us that when giving over the halachas, the story of Negoim, in Tazria Metzorah, the halachas of a Metzorah, of Tzara'as, on clothing, on the house, it's Hashem's petch. It's right, like we always say, it's a spiritual illness. Yeah, I guess every illness has a spiritual underpinning, but this one is just like totally spiritual, right? We're supposed to learn from everything that happens in physicality. But the Medrash Rabbah says that Klal Yisrael were misyore. They were panicking. Like this is scary stuff. We're gonna get punished. We're gonna destroy our house. We're gonna be sent chutz l'machana, in isolation, which now we know what that word means since 2020. We're gonna be in our own little bubble, in our own cubicle. No one's allowed to talk to us. It's like it's embarrassing. Like Tzara'as wasn't a pashut thing. Even if you get an egg eye, you could still spend 14 days in a cell. It's not geschmack. And they were really scared. Moshe Rabbeinu tells them, don't worry about it. Al tisyore. Don't be scared. Why? This is for the goyim. This is for the Umas Ha'olam. That's what Tzara'as is for. You guys, it says, Echol v'shosei, and be besimcha. Go eat, drink, and be merry. And it brings a pasuk. What's this Medrash Rabbah telling us? Tzara'as is for goyim. Who said Tzara'as is for goyim? What are you talking about? Tzara'as is for goyim. The goyim don't have halachas of Tzara'as. They, then go in seclusion. And we don't have Tzara'as? What's Hashem telling us the halachas of Tzara'as? Of course it's about us, it's for us. It's a political thing, and just because we don't have Tzara'as, so we should go and party. The wording is very cryptic, so I think it's the Avon Ezel. It's brought down. Moedige answer has it. Moshe Rabbeinu was telling them a fundamental Vort in Yiddishkeit. There are two ways that the Rebbeinu Shalom gets us back on track. Number one, he hits us. All right, there's the stick and the carrot. Hashem will do something to us which is uncomfortable, and it'll remind us, get back on track. You're a little off, you're slacking, you're walking too close to the edge, you might get hurt, come back. Okay, that's one way. But there's another way, a much more pleasant way. There's the carrot. What's the carrot? How does the Rebbeinu Shalom, instead of hitting us and pushing us to where we need to go, he draws us in, like Rav Bonim used to learn, Moshcheni acharecha. Draw us after you, we asked the Rebbeinu Shalom. We want to be pulled towards you, not pushed towards where we need to go. Being pulled is a lot more pleasant than being shoved. Yeah? Draw us towards us. And now where does the Rebbeinu Shalom draw us towards him? Shabbos and Yom Tov. There's a special or, a light, a very pleasant experience that draws us to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Now, if we experience Shabbos and Yom Tov the way that a Yid does, with the eating and the drinking and the simcha of that spiritual delight, we don't need Tzara'as. There's no need for a push when we're already walking and running, being drawn in that direction. So what happened? Bring it back over here to Tzara'as. Klal Yisrael is terrified. We're gonna get pushed. Hashem's gonna hit us. We're gonna get punished in order to get us back on track. Moshe Rabbeinu says, "Chaver, don't worry. That's not for you. That's for the goyim. For you, bask in the light of the Rebbeinu Shalom in Shabbos and Yom Tov, in the eating and the drinking, where of total kedusha. When you eat, you think this is, at least give me koyach to serve Hashem, at least connected to Hashem, and make a bracha and say thank you, Hashem. You realize that you're being malo the nitzotzes, the spiritual components of this physical food. That's a very high level, but yeah, we could all think that, whether we connect to it or not. We could think it. We could realize we're having a spiritual experience in this physical existence. If we're going in that direction, Hashem won't need to push you. The goyim, what do they know of Shabbos and Yom Tov? You could have all the lights blinding them, and it won't affect them. They don't have that neshama. They don't have what we have, so they need Tzara'as. That's for them, chevra. But as long as you are eating and drinking and being v'sameach in the Shabbos and Yom Tov in the light of Hashem, you're not going to need Tzara'as. Moshcheni acharecha narutza. Draw us after your Rebbeinu Shalom. Bring us towards you without the push. Make it that we're going acharecha, following you, as opposed to when someone hits, you don't follow him. The guy who's hitting you don't follow, right? You run away from. The goyim need to run away from Hashem, and Hashem needs to get them in shape. Whoosh, they need a makkah. For us, Be'ezer Hashem, we should be zeicha to be mashchini acharecha. Hashem should draw us towards you. There was a time not so long ago when people, they connected to the Rebbeinu Shalom in a way that's hard to even imagine nowadays. Rav Shimshon Pincus says this over, so it's the second-hand story. He met the guy who saw this happen. There was a top bacher in Radin, a Mordeg, a Eloi, a Masped, an Even Hashem, a Yirei Shemayim, the whole package. He was older and he was single, and tragedy upon tragedies, he was nifter at a very, very young age. And they didn't know how to tell his father that his son, a single future Gadol Hadar, was nifter, and they couldn't figure out how to give it over to him without breaking his heart. So they sent a delegation, and they presented to him as follows. They told him, you know your son learning in Radin? He says, yeah, sure. What happened? He says, well, they told him that he stopped keeping Shabbos. He says, what? He says, yeah, and he hasn't been putting on tefillin, and just his whole year as Hashem was falling apart. And the man cried. He said, my son should die. It's better for him to live as for him to die as an Erlich Yid than to live off the derech. And he was like so passionate, and he meant it. He said, what's the point of living if he's not going to be an Avodah Hashem? On that note, they said, you should know that Taka, he did die. And he was already fully mekabel that his son, off the derech, was already dead. And then they told him, but you should know that when he was nifter, he was still keeping Shabbos, and he was wearing his tefillin, and he was an emes Yirei Shemayim, and Avodah Hashem, and he was steiging, and he was a goy notzum. He was really, really, really a special yid. And they worked backwards to present it to him in a way that he was happy that his son was still from when he was nifter. And to be able to connect to Hashem in such a real way, that everything is just about chasing Hashem and living in that or. May we be zeicha to live that life of meshchini acharecha, and we should eat, we should drink, and we should be besimcha in our avodas Hashem. Have an amazing Shabbos.